Well, hello, welcome back to my channel, Spinal Engine 1669. I'm James, and thank you for joining me today on YouTube. And today I wanted to speak a little bit more about the results from your breath test and to go into how having a corrupted breath pattern, which is affecting the back part of your rib cage, can actually affect the neck and the throat in order to create such that you have a blocking when you're trying to inhale. And so what I want to say to you is that we're actually what you call a fractal. There was a previous video that I posted some 4 to 5 years ago on fractals and what a fractal is and how our bodies respond as fractals. And so just to recap that, what I'm saying to you is that we are fractals, and that's accredited to the mathematician, the American mathematician Mandelbrot, and he has the book Mandelbrot's Fractal Theory. And so, as I was saying, we're fractals, and in our functioning, we function as fractals. And so what that means is essentially one part of your body or one part represents the whole, or the pattern in one part represents the whole. So the pattern in your breathing, when you're breathing and the back part of your rib cage is contracting, that same pattern is going to be represented all throughout your spine because we're fractals. So any part of the spine that we look at, that same pattern is going to be represented by the entire part. And so we know that there's a part of your rib cage that's contracting, so that means the entire part must be functioning in the same way, which is including your neck. And so whether you can feel it or not, what I'm saying to you is that every time you breathe in your rib cage, the back of your rib cage contracts and the cavity gets smaller on the back side. So too does the back muscles or the muscles in the back of your neck contract to the same amount, to the same intensity. And so you may not feel that on every breath. Essentially what happens is because we're breathing all the time, 24 hours a day for our entire lives, we actually develop what's called sensory amnesia. So you're not even aware, or you can't even feel the contraction on the inhale anymore. In fact, the muscle probably just stays contracted all the time just because you're not aware that you're contracting it in the first place. And so how do we get rid of the sensory amnesia? Well, we just need to develop the awareness. However, because we're fractals, we need to affect the change, or we need to reverse this process from how it started. And what I'm saying is that the process started through a corrupted breath pattern. The problem was in the rib cage and then developed to the back of the neck. And so we're not going to get any change in the back of the neck until we address the back of the rib cage and develop a corrupted free breath pattern. So that's what we're going to do first, is we're going to look at changing the corrupted breath pattern such that when you inhale, the back part of your rib cage relaxes and can expand to create space for the incoming air. And through induction, and because we're fractals, one part is going to be represented by the whole. That part being now that the rib cage, if we can have the rib cage expand outwards on the inhale, then the back of our necks will also be soft on the inhale and ready to soften down towards the floor if we're sleeping on our back. And that will create space for the front part of the throat to fall back as the front part of the throat drops down, so the back part should fall down an equal amount, right? Gravity works equally well on the back part of the throat as what it does on the front part. And so it's not a hyper-relaxed front part of the throat. That's perfectly normal. The front part of your throat is supposed to drop down when you fall asleep on your back, and the back part of your throat is supposed to lower down to move out of the way of the front part. All right, so essentially what I'm saying is that if you have sleep apnea, you can't get out of your own way, hence the title of the book. And so we're going to change that by first starting with changing the corrupted breath pattern.